Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm Melanie from Yoga Within. Today we're going to do a Hatha yoga class. So some props that you may want to have handy is some kind of strap or belt or something that you can use. And perhaps one of these square blocks, just a foam one is good. If you don't have one, use a box of Kleenex or, just leave it out and you can pretend you have it. As always, you may want the block or a blanket to sit up on. So just grab some props if you have them handy, and then find your most comfortable place to begin, whether it's lying down or sitting up. Just make sure that you feel connected to the ground and that you can take a really big, deep breath in and just tighten everything up as tight as you can. And a big, long, loud letting go exhalation. Just let it all go. And just take a breath or two to let your body soften, to receive the support of the ground beneath you. Connect with your breath, consciously reminding yourself, I am breathing in, I am breathing out. Breath is your connection to life. Let it be strong. Try not to force it, but do try to breathe mindfully. Just notice your mind following the rhythm of the breath and start to allow your awareness to return. Just start wiggling your fingers, your toes, rotating into your wrists and into your ankles. Just letting your body start to wake up, again, mindfully. So get the movement as large as you can without hurting yourself. But like my teacher, Gerda, always says, put some effort into it. Go the other direction if you haven't already. Open your hands wide, spread your toes wide, and then clench your toes, clench your fists. Do that a few times. Get those joints moving. And then breathe in, tighten everything up as tight as you can. And a big, long, loud letting go exhalation. If you are sitting up, you can bring yourself down onto your back. As you settle onto your back, just readjust your neck. So if you do find that you need something under your neck for some support, grab a blanket or something. Bend your knees, have your knees and feet about hip width apart. And then extend your fingers up so they point to the ceiling and clasp your elbows. Just let your elbows move to the right and take your head and turn it to the right. If it doesn't feel good, take your head back to the center. Bring the arms and the head center, and then take the arms and the gaze left. Back to the center, to the right, and just go a few times from side to side. Not thinking so much about getting the elbows to the floor as about getting some movement into that upper back. So don't even strive for reaching the floor. Notice what you're feeling. Try to keep your hips even, remembering that everything on the ground is part of your foundation. Just really notice how your neck and shoulders feel. Pause at the center, point the fingers up to the ceiling, and then open your arms to the ground, a T-like position. Now see if you can bend your elbows into, what we call cactus arms or goalpost arms. And take a moment, just notice how your back's feeling. If you've got this big arch in your back, try to draw your belly towards your spine, engage into the core. Good, your chin's tip down a bit, that natural curve. And just look over to the right arm. Notice if your arms are in right angles, and look over to the left. Bring your head back to the center. Now extend your arms straight up above your head. Keep them on the ground, but kind of like a V position. And then bring them back to goalpost. Bring them up, keeping shoulders, upper arms, elbows, lower arms connected to the ground and down. Keep the natural curve of your spine, so you are not trying to keep a back bend. Breathing in as the arms raise, Breathing out as they lower. Try to keep all 10 of your fingers touching the floor, and often our thumbs aren't even touching at all. The next time the arms come down into those cactus arms or goalpost arms, stop, extend the arms out to a T, bring them up and clasp your elbows the opposite way that you had them. Now walk your feet about mat width apart. Drop your arms and turn your head to the right, but let your knees drop left. Come back to the center on a breath in and go the other way as you breathe out. So arms and head left, knees right. Back to the center and try to do it 5 or 6 more times on each side. But if you know today is a day where the dynamic movement, a little bit faster movement, is not what you need, slow it down, hold on each side for a breath or two, and do fewer repetitions. Remember, as you start to warm the body and discover how you're feeling today, this is where you start to realize that you're in control. And I'm just one person telling you what to do. You should really listen to your body. What does your body tell you you need? As best you can, try to do an even number on each side. And when you finish everything back at the center. Lift the feet up, bring your hands to your shins, or hold the backs of your thighs if your knees bother you, or hold your feet. You can always bring the nose up to the knees. Use your breath. Knees and feet can be farther apart if you need more of a release, low back in the hips. Or you can even explore moving knees and feet apart, moving them together. You know, the practice is yours, and you are in charge of discovering what the asanas, the postures are teaching you today. Then the torso, head comes down, feet come to the floor, feet are about hip width apart, so reposition that low back and open your arms to a T. Then the elbows to those cactus arms or the goalpost arms. Good, and then you lift your feet up off the floor, bring palms and elbows together if that's possible. If not, keep them parallel. And then feet come to the floor, arms open to the cactus arms. Breathe in here, breathe out, feet and arms up. And just work with your breath. I'm going to forget to tell you to breathe. My suggestion is that you keep breathing. Now, if you want to add on to this, the feet come up, the arms come together, elbows come to knees, head comes off the floor, head down, arms and feet down. Breathe in, everything comes up, elbows to knees, breathe out. Remember, if you're feeling that in the neck and shoulders, you should probably question why you are doing that. Now, if there's not any back issues and you want to add on to that, keep going. If you don't, no pausing for coffee. You can stretch the legs out. The legs come up, the knees bend, the arms come together, nose towards the knees, head down, legs up, arms open, straight legs come down. Straight legs up, knees bend, arms together, elbows and knees. Head down, legs up, arms open, legs down. Do about 25 more. I'm just kidding. Do the number that works for you. It's never about how many you do. It's about the quality of what you're doing. Remember, it's not about how fast you go. It's actually much more challenging if you slow it down. Come up on that long exhale where you squeeze everything out of the lower abdominal. Straighten the legs, open the arms, and a slow exhalation takes you down. A slow inhalation brings you up. Let this be the last time. Breathe, hold if you're in this crunch position. Make sure the neck is free. Listen to the story of your breath. Head down, legs up, arms open, are all 10 fingers touching the floor. As the legs lower, if you are thrusting your rib cage, which I know some of you are, you should be doing it with bent knees. Pause here. Notice your connection to the ground supporting you. Bend the knees. Bring your knees and feet together. Cross the right leg over the left and drop your knees to the left. So you roll to the side of the left foot. That right glute lifts off the floor. If it doesn't hurt your neck, look into the eye of the right elbow. Work with your breathing. Bring everything back to the center, legs and head. Uncross. Take the left over the right, just like you're sitting on a chair. So cross at the knees. Now drop your knees to the right. That left glute looks up. And look over to the eye of the left elbow. Now you may find that Kleenex box or that block that I mentioned to you is something that you need for support under the knees. If you are feeling the most excruciating pain you've ever felt in your life, my suggestion is that you need to come out of this, or you need to modify to a place of strength and ease. Everything comes back to the center. Uncross. Rock the knees a little bit from side to side. Lift your feet up off the floor. Bring hands to shins or hands to backs of thighs. Or go into this happy baby variation where you're holding the calves or the ankles. And I know so many of you really want to hold your feet, but then that baby's not too happy and you're in reverse curls. Those straps that I told you you could use them on the soles of the feet so you can open your feet way wider. Bend the elbows out. Breathe into the low back. And if you really want to tip the chin down, don't turn this into a reverse curl. Get that low back breathing into the ground. No strain in the neck. Ankle above knee. Breathing. Torso comes down. Now begin to press up through the legs, which might mean you need to slide the hands down the straps. Breathe. Bring your legs together. And then bend the knees, put the strap to the side for a moment. If you like spinal rocks, do a bunch of them. But if your neck or your tailbone or your low back hurts, again, I would question your choice in doing them. This is where you have to practice. Well, you don't have to do anything, I guess. But this is where you really should practice kindness to yourself and truthfulness to ourselves, because when we're kind and honest to ourselves, it's so much easier to extend that out to the real world. So once you get back to a seated position, sit cross-legged if it's comfortable. You can sit up on those blocks or blankets or towels, wiggle around, roll your shoulders back a few times, forward a few times. Bring the arms forward, clasp your elbows, sit up nice and tall. So it's like your hands pull your elbows together and your shoulders gently drop down and apart. You twist to the right, come back to the center, twist to the left, take your whole body with you, back to the center, over to the right, center, left, center. This time, keep your shoulders pointing straight ahead and move the arms right. Come back to the center, move the arms left. So that right arm kind of straightens, the left one bends. Do a few more on each side. Feel that movement across the upper back. Keep the chin parallel to the floor, not twisting from the low back. Pause at the center. See if you could lift your arms up, and for some of you it'll mean sliding the hands apart, perhaps holding the wrists or even hooking the fingers. I know some of you are thrusting those chins and ribs forward, so try to soften them down. See if you could bend to the right. Drop the shoulders, try to keep the weight even on both glutes. If it does not hurt your neck, look up to the eye of the left elbow. Keep breathing. If you're looking up, look straight ahead. Resist as you come up. Switch, put the other hand on top and bend to the right. Don't rush to look up. I know some of you are already looking up, but try to root down into your glutes. And I know I can't see you, but I've been doing this for 30 years, so I know. Drop the shoulders, look up to the right elbow. If it's hurting, why? Don't look up. Look straight ahead. Bring yourself up. Stretch the arms up. And as you exhale, bring the hands to the knees. Lean forward. Put the elbows on the knees. Put the elbows on the floor. Support the head with the hands. Stay there. Or put the palms down. Walk the arms forward, farther apart than the shoulders. Go up on spider fingers. Press the hips back and bring the ears between the arms. Breathe here. If you can, as you exhale, move the torso, move the arms to the right. So you're getting that torso as far over that right thigh as you can. You're still up on those spider fingers, and the weight is even on both glutes. Come back to the center. Again, pause. The pauses tell you a lot about what you're doing. Do you rush ahead without thinking, or can you readjust your foundation? Your next exhalation takes you to the left. Press back and down through that right hip, that right glute. And check-in is all the weight on your fingers. Try to lift the hands lightly off the floor. Bring yourself back to the center. Take the hands off the ground. Put one hand in the low back, the other hand in the low back, palms face up. And bring yourself back to a seated position. Good. Roll the shoulders out. Other way. Bring the knees up, stretch the legs out, bounce them out. Now you can do this with straight legs or cross your legs the opposite way. It's really up to you. Bring the arms straight up in front of you. Open the arms to a T. Rotate the shoulders so the palms face down. And then bring the fingertips to the ground behind you so you're not leaning back. Keep your spine upright. Now lift the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades, and create a back bend. Neck is long. So if I take my hand to the neck, there's no creases in the neck. It's nice and smooth. Lift, 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 lift. Squeeze, squeeze your shoulders. Now open your mouth as wide as you can, really wide. Feel the movement in the jaw. Now take your lower lip and put it on your nose. Stretch your neckline. And do that a few times. Open the jaw and lower lip up. One more time, open. Big open, come on. And then close, put that lower lip up. Keep that back bend, keep breathing. Release the lip, look straight ahead. Bring the arms forward, put the hands on the knees. Squeeze the air out of the lower abdominals. Drop the chin to the chest. So now the shoulders are moving apart. Belly's coming towards spine, and you're releasing that back bend that you did. You bring yourself back up, arms up, open nice and wide. You're expanding and opening the chest. Rotate the arms and the shoulders, fingertips on the floor, but the weight of your body is not on those fingertips. You're sitting up nice and tall. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Use your legs. Lift the chest. Lengthen the neck. Open the jaw, close the jaw. Do it a couple more times. Strong spine, creating the back bend you need, opening the front body, breathing, freedom in the neck, not compression. Gaze straight ahead. hands to the knees. Squeeze the air out of the lower abdominals. So move from the base of the spine, drop the chin, soften the shoulders. Breathe. The hands are just lightly on the knees. You're not embedding your fingerprints into your kneecaps. Good. And then bring yourself all the way up. If your legs were crossed, straighten them out and bounce into your legs. Rock them out. Keep your left leg straight. Bend your right knee. Bring left hand to right knee. Right fingertips behind. Again, not leaning back on them, but lifting. So if you can't sit up, slide that right foot farther forward. Now twisting low back, mid back, upper back head's the very last thing to turn. Everything comes back to the center. Straighten the right leg, bend the left. Sit up tall. So this time we're taking right hand to left, left fingertips behind. Use your legs. Sit up tall, twist left. If your spine was against the wall, both shoulders would touch the wall, chins parallel to the floor. See if you can lift those fingers, tap the fingers. Back to the center. Left leg straightens once more to each side. Maybe you deepen it this time. Perhaps the left elbow goes to the outside. Some of you may reach behind, grab the left hand with the right, twisting right. This is also where you can use the straps if you can't reach your hands. By moving this right foot farther down towards my left ankle, I have the ability to twist the torso around my spine more. Remember, holding allows you to go deeper. Bring yourself back to the center, stretch that right leg out, bend the left, sit up tall, opposite hand, so right hand to left knee. Maybe you get the arm under the leg, reach behind. Both feet are active, shoulders drawing down the back. Each time you exhale, squeeze the air out of the lower abdominals. These twists massage our spine, massage our internal organs. Bring it back to the center. Bend both knees, place both heels on the floor. Lift the hips, send them back unless you're already sitting on your props. And come forward into this happy baby position we did on our backs earlier. You can bend the knees a lot, get that release in the low back. You can see my knees are coming into my armpits. Some of you may want to bring the arms in and take the hands to the outsides of the legs. Breathing, rock a bit. Drop the shoulders, neck in line with the spine so that head's not hanging, that chin's not thrusting. Good. Bring yourself all the way back up to a straight spine. Drop the shoulders. Walk the feet in so they're either side by side or farther apart if it's hamstrings and low back. You can stay here, or some of you may get your legs straight. Draw the shoulders back of the feet here. Bring yourself up. Roll your shoulders back a few times, forwards a few times, and then swing your legs to the sides and come onto your hands and knees. So here, take a moment. If you need something under your knees, use your blankets, double up your mat. This is where you may want to have that Kleenex box or this foamy block handy. Well, you might not want to, but you should. Good, and then just take a moment, turn the hands out, turn the hands so the fingers face towards your knees or your thighs, and back out, forward, and shift from side to side in. Just try to build some strength onto our wrists. Often we shy away because we have wrist sensitivity. You want to try to strengthen them. But as always, if you've been cautioned by a doctor not to do something, listen to your doctor, not to me. Once you're here, send your hips back to your heels. And then bring your bottom back up, hips above knees. And again, back and up and back and up. Good. Now, the block, or the Kleenex box. Put it in your right hand, pick it up, and then put it on top of your right palm so that I can't see your fingers curling around, because right now I can. Try not to press your hips from side to side. Keep all 10 toes rooted. Move the right arm forward. Draw it back. Move it forward. Draw it back. Move it forward. Bring it across the left. Back to the center. Out to the right. Don't collapse. Center across. Center out. Bring it back. Bring the elbow along the side body. Bend your elbow so it points to the right. Bring the block under the arm and send it back. Bend the elbow. Bring it parallel to the chest. Bring it forward. Bend. Rotate. Back. Bend. Rotate forward. Bend. Rotate back. Now pause. Take it out to the side. Back along the side body. Don't collapse. Keep the natural curve of your spine. Gonna do it one more time if you can. Bring it back. Bring it in. Under. Forward. Put it down. Tuck the 10 toes, send the hips back to the heels. Lift your hands off the floor. Now, if it's too much pressure sitting like this, you can either put a rolled up yoga mat or something on top of the calves, or you can just do the toe work and come up. Make tight, tight fists. Release, shake it out. Make tight fists, bring the arms up without going into the back bend. Keep that curve, natural curve, and then release, shake. Really shake the arms, get the circulation back. Back up, tighten. Pulse into those tucked toes. Feel the work. And release, shake. Come back onto the hands and knees. Reposition tops of the feet on the floor. Don't hang those heads. I know you are. And they're heavy, right? Good, and then take the Kleenex box, take the block, and place it under the left hand. Reposition the right. Where do you need it? Think shoulder, elbow, wrist. Tuck those fingers under, get the hips above the knees, and forward and back. Notice the difference from side to side. Work with your breathing. Keep the natural curve of your spine, so not hanging out in that low back. Breathing. All 10 toes are lightly pressing into the ground. The weight's even. If you prefer having your toes tucked, by all means. Next time the arm is straight, bring it across the right, back to the center, out to the left. Notice the difference from side to side. I notice I am much stronger on one side than on the other side. Try not to lock that right arm. Take it out. Bring it forward. Now bend the elbow, turn, take it back. Bend the elbow, turn the block, extend it forward. And if it falls, that's okay. Just pick it up and start again. Don't quit. It's not coffee time yet. Bring it back under. If you're feeling the core strength, the abdominals, perfect. Breathe that locked arm, unlock it. Bring it back again. Pause with it at the side body. Take it out to the side. Bring it back. Out to the side. Keep the weight even. If you're shifting all the weight into the left side, try to keep the weight even. Next time it's along the side body. Bring it in, under, forward, and then set it down. Pause, get the weight even. You might need to walk those hands out a bit. Tuck your 10 toes under. Sit the bottom back on the heels, or remember your option is to be up onto the knees. Tighten the fists, open the fingers wide, open and close as fast as you can. And then tight fist, breathe in, lift, connect top and bottom half right at the core. And release. Shake the arms, release the shoulders, release the wrists. 2 more times. Tight, tight. Really tighten everything. Squeeze your glutes, your face, everything, and then let go. Last time. Tighten, 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 and let go. Good. Bring yourself all the way up onto the knees. Put the tops of the feet on the floor and just tap your feet out a bit. Again, you can have padding under the knees. Here, those straps that I told you to have, grab them. If you don't have one, that's fine. Just pretend. Tuck your 10 toes under again. Have your knees below your hips, about hip width apart. If you did have a block, you can always put the block between your inner upper thighs, and that gives you a little bit more of a challenge. I suppose you could use your Kleenex box as long as you don't squeeze too hard. Take the strap and bring it behind your back. Start with the strap about shoulder width apart, and try not to have a death grip on the strap. Relax it a bit. Now start lifting the arms up, squeezing the shoulder blades, squeeze into that imaginary block between your legs. So we're coming into a chest expander position, not a back bend, just a chest expander. So you've got the natural curve of your spine, you're opening up into that front body. Good, and then release. Once more, lift. Within your hands, it's as though you're pulling the strap apart, but squeezing your shoulder blades like there's a small lemon that you're trying to juice. You have the natural curve of your neck, so there's no tension there. And you're breathing. It's called chest expander because we are trying to open and expand our chest. Good for anybody with any kind of breathing problems. And then lower the arms. Release the strap for a moment. Just shake out the wrists, put the tops of the feet on the floor, tap the toes out. So your option is to repeat the exact same thing that you just did, or tuck your toes under, take the strap behind, extend the arms, and try to walk the hands towards each other. Pull the strap apart, squeeze the shoulder blades, lift the arms. Now, if this hurts your knees or any part of your body, just stay where you are and breathe here. If it's possible to press the bottom back towards the heels and come part way forward, do that. Keep lifting the arms, squeezing the shoulder blades, and then bring yourself all the way up. Repeat that once more, or place the tops of the feet on the floor. Send the bottom back all the way to the heels. Lift the arms. If your head doesn't come to the floor, you can use the Kleenex box or the block and rest your forehead on the block. If your head is on the ground and your bottom's in the air, you're too far forward. And then bring yourself all the way up. Release, set the strap down, shake it out. Last time, your option is any of the previous ones we've done, or bring the arms up, open the arms, squeeze the inner legs, rotate the shoulders, interlace your fingers, bend the elbows, seal the hands, lift the arms. Neck is free, you're not in a back bend. Bottom goes back towards the heels. Head goes down. Don't lower it below the heart if you have blood pressure issues. Perhaps you can get the arms to the floor over the head. The strength of the legs and the core of the body bring you up where you pause. And some of you will have the blocks between the inner upper thighs for a bit more of a challenge. Down. Coming back up, strength of the legs, breathing, slow and steady wins the race. Remember, it's not about how fast you go. Once more, if you can, get that front body open, breathe, and all the way back up and release. Let the arms swing a bit. Bring the arms up, wrap your arms around your shoulders. Give yourself a big hug, move the shoulders forward, back, elbows up and down. Open the arms, squeeze the inner thighs, get those legs active, and hug yourself with the other arm on top. Again, rediscovering those shoulders. Move them. And release, bring the hands to the hips. Put your left foot on the floor. Put it down. Put your right foot on the floor. Put the knee back down. Do it once more on each side. Really noticing your movement. Pause here. And now bring the left foot forward. Have the knee above the heel. You can stay here like this, upright. If you need padding under that right knee, by all means, keep it there. And then drop down if you can. Again, not moving into a back bend. Opposite hand, so right to left. Left comes behind, twisting left, breathing. Coming back to the center, back up, and then left knee to the ground. Notice the journey. Pay attention to how you get there. So knee above heel, knee in line with the hip. It's right hip back. Now, if you can sink down, you sink down. It might involve moving that right foot forward so you can move the right hip back. Left to right, right to the back of the left, twisting, chins parallel to the floor. Bend the elbows so that the shoulder opens. Remember, you get out of your practice what you put into it. So, if it's a day where I'm just happy to be moving, be proud of yourself. And if it's a day where you think, I'm going to go a little bit deeper, whether it's breathing or holding the postures, do that. Whatever you do, just be proud of yourself for doing it. Back to the center, come back up, set that knee down. Bring your hands to the ground, tuck your toes. Now your option is always this child's pose, or get the bottom back to the heels, lift the knees, ears between the arms, and find your downward dog. Walk this dog out. If you are in child's pose, move your knees wider apart if you like. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Now you can do this on your hands and knees in tabletop if you prefer. Lift your right foot off the floor. Good. Breathe, 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 and put it back down. Lift your left foot off the floor. I forgot to tell you, you're bending the knee and keeping the knees parallel. Good, and put it on the floor. Lift your right foot off the floor. And now lift so the front of the thigh is parallel to the floor. Knees parallel, foot down. Left foot up, knees are parallel. Up, down, walk it out. And now take as many tiny steps forward as you can, keeping your hands as flat as you can, into a half or full forward fold. Use your breathing. Remember, if your back hurts or your hamstrings are tight, move your legs farther apart. Let your knees be soft. And then walk your hands up the legs, letting your head be the very last thing to come up. Roll your shoulders back and roll them forward. Stand on your mat with your feet as close together as you can have them for your balance. And just go back and forth from your toes to your heels without sticking your bottom out or thrusting your pelvis forward. Move as one unit, just up on the toes, back to the heels. Arms swing, don't force it. Good, let the movement stop. Place your hands on the hips. So this is some balance. If you need a wall or the back of a chair, by all means, use that. Shift your weight to your left foot and bring your right toes forward. That's good, and breathe here. Notice your hands being on your hips. Are your hips even? You can have one hand on the belly, one hand on the low back. Now pull those toes until the legs are parallel, but that right foot is no longer on the ground, but your hips are still even. Now move the right leg back, put the top of the foot on the floor, and draw that right hip forward. So feel the stretch on the top of the foot, and if you don't, change the position. Now draw that foot forward, have the foot parallel to the floor, parallel to the other leg, and then point. Get all 5 of the toes on the floor, kind of like you're in a high heel. Pull that front hip back, draw the legs parallel, move the right leg back, top of the foot on the floor, draw it in. Bring the foot forward, bottom of the foot parallel to the floor. Now, right foot forward, left arm forward, right arm back. Bring everything in so you're in a mountain pose without the right foot on the floor, and then switch. Right arm forward, right leg back, left arm back. Mountain pose without touching, and switch. Now, some of you may want to swing. Breathing, breathing. Good. Stop. Right foot on the floor. Left hand comes across to right hip. Right hand in the low back. Twist right. Good. Bring it back to the center. Repeat that twist again, or lift the right foot off the floor. Put the left hand on the knee and twist right. Smile. Bring yourself back to the center. Extend that right leg out, flex the foot, lower it down, and walk it out. Walk it out. Switch sides. So check out the hands on the hips first. Point those left toes. Then put the other hand on the belly, the other hand on the low back. Draw the foot in. Just don't let it touch the floor. Make sure the hips are even. Take it back. Top of the foot on the floor. Press into the top of the foot. Give it a good stretch. So if you're sinking down, rise up. It should feel like work. Draw it forward, parallel, all the way forward. Point kind of like you're in that high heel. Pull front hip back, so left hip back. Draw it back, rise up, move it back. Top of the foot on the floor. Draw it forward so you feel your spine get longer. Unclench your 5 right toes. And forward. Last time, bring it back. Rise up. Pause, parallel. Left toes forward. Right arm forward, left arm back. Breathe in. Bring it all to that mountain pose without the foot being on the floor. And then switch. Mountain. Forward. Mountain. Back. Mountain. Now this time you may find that you want to swing. Breathing opposite arm and leg forward. Try to keep the hips even as opposed to flinging one up in the air. Pause when the left foot and right arm are forward. Bring the right hand to the left hip. Left hand behind. Rise up the spine and twist left. Breathing. Good. Bring it back to the center. Repeat that, or lift the left foot off the floor. Put the right hand on the knee and twist. Breathe. Put some action in that left foot. Either point the toes or flex it. Bring it back to the center. Extend the leg. Lower it down. Bring both arms up or put your hands on the hips. Bend over to the right. Up to the center. To the left. All the way up, add a back bend, placing the hands on the hips. Hips move forward, rise up out of the low back. Put the hands on the glutes or slide them down, that chest expander position you were doing before. The strength of the legs bring you up. Fold halfway or all the way forward. Readjust your foundation if you need to. Take a breath or two here. Place your hands on the floor. Step back into a plank position. If plank doesn't work for you, you can go tabletop onto your hands and knees. From tabletop, you can send the hips back to child's pose, or from plank, you can bend the knees, send the hips up and back, downward dog. Take a breath or two. Walk the dog out. If you're in child's pose, you may want to rock the bottom across the heels. And then bring your gaze to between your hands and bring your feet back between your hands, however you can get them there. Either walk the hands up the legs or extend the arms out to a T. Rotate the shoulders, bring the arms all the way up and lower the hands down. So starting with your feet side by side, if that's comfortable for you, or move them a little farther apart. It really depends on what you need for support. Right arm comes up, left hand in the low back, bend to the left. Try not to twist. See how my hip goes over. Try to use the strength of the leg and bring the hip over the ankle. You can always look up if it's not hurting the neck. You look straight ahead, come up. One arm goes down in the low back, left arm up, bending to the right. Use the strength of the legs, breathe. If you feel an arch in your low back, you know you are not connected top and bottom half, and there's not any strength in the core. Try not to let that head hang. Keep the body strong, unclench your toes. Come all the way up, lower. Walk your feet farther apart than your hips. Right arm up, left hand behind, rise up. Bend left, not twisting. Look up if you like. Keep your breathing. Keep the strength of the legs. All the way up. Lower one to the low back. Lift. The lift comes from the arches of the feet, outside edges of your feet, parallel. Breathing. Good. Come up. Lower. Other arm up. Other hand behind the back. Heel. Toe. Heel. Toe your feet wider apart, outside edges of the feet parallel, rise up, bending over, over, over. Use the strength of the legs because it could look like this, but we want that strength all the way up. Last time, bending to the right, breathing strong through the core of the body, all the way up. Lower the arms. Thumbs rest on sternum, palm to palm, bend the knees. Now you may find that you need your feet a little farther apart or a little closer together. Shift the weight to the right, straightening the left. Lift your chest, send those hips back. Come back to the center, bend both knees, drop the glutes. Straighten the right leg, bend the left. Breathe, lift your chest, smile. Bend both knees. Once more to each side. Shift right, straighten the left, unclench your toes. Big toe mound, little toe mound, center of the heel on the left foot working. The arch is lifting. Back to the center, pause, drop those glutes. Come on. Last time, other side. Breathe. Breathe, chest lift. You should be able to smile and breathe. Good. Bend. Pretend you're sitting in your chair. You may need to reposition your feet. Press your elbows on the thighs. Good, breathe here. If this is enough, be content here. Otherwise, drop your arms down. I'm just going to turn sideways so you can see. Drop the arms down, send those hips way back. Walk the fingertips forward, bring the ears between the arm, and maybe you begin to straighten the legs to what is straight for you. Keep breathing. Take the right hand off the floor, bring it in the low back, lift the left fingertips up. Fingertips down, arm down, other hand in the low back. Hips are going up and back. Lift the fingertips up, fingertips down, other arm back down. Knees bend, either put the palms on the thighs or lift the torso up and come all the way up. Lower the arms down, heel, toe, heel, toe, back and forth from your toes to your heels. Go up on the balls of the feet, walk to the front of the mat, lower your heels down. Bring the arms up or put your hands on the hips, bend to the right, come up, drop your shoulders, bend to the left, come up, soften the shoulders, open to a back bend. Whatever back bend works for you, think about the chest expander position you did. If you don't feel your legs working, you are probably sinking and compressing. So rise up, create space in the spine. Remember, what you do is meant to benefit you, not hurt you. The strength of the legs bring you up. Body folds, bend at those hip creases, adjust the feet if you need to. Fold all the way or halfway forward. It's up to you. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Step back to plank. If plank doesn't work, remember, go tabletop. From plank position, don't hang those heads, don't sink in the belly. Go back to downward dog. If you were in tabletop, go back to child's pose. Bring your knees to the mat. Tuck your toes under. If you can't squat, sit down however you like. Otherwise, walk your hands back, lift your knees up. Lift the arms up. Walk forward a bit. Go from the toes to the heels to the bottom. Heels go forward. Lower the arms, send those hips up and back. So you tilt the pelvis. So adjust the glutes or sit on those blocks. Remember, it can be happy baby. It can be exactly what you need it to be. It should be exactly what you need it to be. Don't worry about what externally the picture looks like. Work from the inside out. Try to feel it. Forward folds are meant to be calming for the central nervous system as long as you're breathing in them. Back bends, on the other hand, are stimulating postures as long as you're breathing in them. Bring yourself up. Roll the shoulders back. Roll them forward. Wiggle yourself forward a bit so you have enough mat to come down onto. You can either lie yourself down or bend your knees, heels on the floor or feet on the floor. If this is going to hurt back or tailbone, again, why? Why do it? Just come down. Otherwise, the strength of the body takes you down, strong legs, you're breathing. Once you're all the way down, bring the knees into the chest, rock it out. You can hold shins, feet. You can see how my chin's overarching. You want to tip that chin down a bit or readjust your neck. Breathe here. If you feel that you would benefit with your feet on the floor instead, if your back's bothering you, by all means do that. Otherwise, open your arms, rotate the shoulders so the palms are down, and pull your palms towards your shoulders. Drop your knees to the right. You can bring that right hand to the knee if you like. Look left or center or right. Open the arm. Back to center. Last time, other side. Again, you decide what would benefit you here the most. Always check in with your breath to hear the story it shares with you. Come back to the center. Pause for a moment. Something to release the back, release the twist, whether it's those little circles, simply a tiny ball, legs up, whatever you need. Then release your feet to the floor. Stretch everything out. Now, if your back hurts, keep your knees bent. Take a big, deep breath in, tighten everything, and a big, long, loud letting go exhalation. Perhaps try that one more time and let it go. Give yourself time for any last movements you need to go into Shavasana. Find the most comfortable place. Bend the knees if your back bothers you. Use a bolster under your knees. wherever you need to be to feel the best. As we take the journey through Shavasana, feel free to stay and take a few more moments in Shavasana. You do not need to come out and end with me. In fact, I encourage you, take a little longer. Your coffee will wait. Let the body settle to the ground, supporting you. Reconnect with your breath. Breath is life. I inhale peace. I exhale to release. My body softens. My mind softens. I let go. Thank you so much for joining me today. The light in me honors and bows to the light in you. Namaste. If you are following us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and have a really great day.